Hello, sisters and brothers. This message concerns the compensation offered by the government to federal public service employees who are paid by the Phoenix payroll system for all the damages they have suffered. The Public Service Alliance of Canada, as well as other unions and associations representing federal public service employees, have been negotiating with the government for more than 2 years to obtain fair and equitable compensation to offset some of the harm suffered by people. On May 8, some of the unions and associations agreed to sign an agreement on this subject. As National President of the Union of Taxation Employees, I sit on the PSAC National Board of Directors with the other component presidents and members of the Alliance Executive Committee. The board has met many times over the past 2 years, particularly in recent months, as negotiations to reach an agreement have intensified. The PSAC National Board of Directors unanimously agreed that the offer accepted by the Professional Institute of the Public Service of Canada and other unions and associations is clearly insufficient for its members in light of the hardships that they have had to endure. Indeed, after more than 2 years of negotiations, the government offered only 1.25 days of paid leave per year for 4 years as general compensation allocated to all members who are paid by Phoenix. The PSAC could not accept this paltry proposal. Indeed, the offer in no way resembles compensation, not to mention the recognition of the serious consequences that Phoenix's failures have had on people's lives. More than 270,000 public servants were directly affected and suffered financial losses. Many have been forced to refuse a promotion, cancel parental leave, limit family support, or even postpone retirement. And that's not to mention the great moments of distress that people experienced, among other things, not knowing from one paycheck to another whether or not they would receive their salary. This is completely unacceptable and, according to the Parliamentary Budget Officer, will continue for at least another 3 years because the Phoenix payroll system is still generating so many errors that it will take this long to stabilize the system and correct all these errors before the transition to a new payroll system can be made. This clearly shows that the general compensation offered so far by the government is clearly insufficient since it ceases to apply for the 2019-2020 fiscal year, even though the problems related to the Phoenix payroll system will continue to exist until at least the end of the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Other elements of the offer are equally unacceptable to the PSAC, including the imposition of a $1,500 threshold for the processing of certain claims for compensation. Not to mention that many members would suffer an injustice because they would be unable to cash out their leave because of the restrictive clauses in the collective agreement. While I respect the right and authority of the other unions and associations representing federal public servants to accept the current offer from the federal government, I have weighed this matter thoroughly and given it great consideration. I do not believe in all good conscience that this is the best deal they or we can get for our members. I am certainly not willing to recommend this modest offer to our members. Indeed, I have a serious problem with the fact that these organizations have accepted the offer of paid leave while insisting on obtaining a commitment from the government that if another bargaining agent, such as the PSAC, obtains additional compensation for its members outside the agreement that they have agreed to sign, all these unions and associations will obtain the same compensation for their members. On the one hand, these unions say that they have signed a good agreement for their members, but on the other hand, they protect themselves in the event that another union, such as PSAC, obtains better compensation for its members. For the government, it is about using the good old-fashioned tactic of divide and conquer. For the trade union movement, this is a dark moment and an affront to union solidarity and strength in numbers. As National President of the Union of Taxation Employees, I fully agree with the decisions made by the PSAC National Board of Directors on this issue. In the coming days and weeks, the PSAC will continue to negotiate with the federal government to obtain fair compensation for its members who deserve nothing less. I can assure you that our union will spare no effort to support the PSAC in this fight. To do this, we need you. We must put pressure on the Liberal government and all federal MPs to ensure that justice is done for all federal public service employees who are suffering the horrors of the Phoenix system. Stay tuned. We will inform you very soon about the actions to be taken to make your dissatisfaction known. Feel free to contact one of your local union representatives to learn more. Thank you for your support. In solidarity.